Welcome everybody to Cookies and Careers Coffee Talk. It is back to school season and there is so much to think about, from how to manage your career and your children, how to manage the schedules and everything else. Today, our featured baking item is actually oatmeal muffins. They are gluten-free, they are sugar-free, and they can be dairy-free if you choose. We do have chocolate chips in there to make them maybe just a little sweeter, but when my children were growing, breakfast is hard. Sometimes it was on the go as we raced to high school to make it in before the homeroom bell rang. So having a muffin on the go, I thought would be a great choice for today. And look for the recipe in our caption. Today, I'm so excited to talk to two moms who work outside the home and also manage their families. So I'm going to start with Jess, and she's going to introduce herself, and then Gayatri is going to actually talk about also her career and her family. But first, just do quick introductions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your job, your family, and then we're going to just go. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Jess. I have three beautiful girls. I've got a high schooler, middle schooler, and an elementary schooler. So we're crazy.
You've covered all the bases.
Yep.
Covered all the bases. And your high schooler isn't quite driving yet, which means you're still driving.
Yes, all the time.
The Uber driver.
Yes, Uber mom.
Uber mom. How about you?
Oh, it sounds about right, Uber mom. So I have three boys who are 13, 10, and 6. So we're very much in it with middle school and elementary school. And I also, this year, I am on my own with business. I've been doing this for a little bit, but this year I'm fully on my own. And I work in sustainability. I help organizations with their sustainability efforts.
Wow, that's great. And it's your own business?
It's my own.
Wow.
100% this year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to manage, your own business and your own business, which is your family.
And it is a challenge every day trying to get the balance.
Well, we're going to talk about how you've tried to do it now and give some tips to people. And Jess, do you want to talk a little bit about your job?
Sure. I work in cybersecurity and remotely, which is its own challenge.
Yeah, I guess that has its benefits and its drawbacks, right?
Absolutely.
Right, which we all figure out as we go, especially with families, right? And COVID taught us all, how to be remote, how to manage your family, and make sure you wear clothes on the camera. But cybersecurity is pretty hot, and it's hard to keep up. Right? It's just constantly changing. There's always things happening, and makes it really challenging. So how do you manage sort of staying up with your career and also managing this back to school rush and keeping the family organized?
For us, we do a lot of calendar management. So we'll, for the older girls, everybody keeps their own calendar. So we're very much, any activity that you have, you got to put in your calendar. Any doctor's appointment, you put it in your calendar. And then we will, go through the calendar periodically and make sure everything's in there. And then the day before, we go through and we say, okay, where does everybody need to be tomorrow, at what time, and make sure that everybody's got their ride and their schedule set up.
So you have, each of them have their own calendar, and you have a family calendar that it joins to? Like, how do you see everybody's?
Yeah, we actually use Google Calendar.
Okay.
And then everybody shares their calendar with me.
All right. And then
so we line it all up.
So the night before, part of your prep is for the next day is to just figure out, make sure carpool is handled, everybody has what they need.
Yeah, and then we'll set up like what time everybody needs to get up in the morning. So obviously my youngest elementary schooler doesn't have a calendar.
Right, not yet.
But we'll talk about what time she's going to get up in the morning, with the other girls who have to get up and catch the bus. So we'll say, okay, what time are you getting up? What do you need to do? What do you have going on tomorrow? Who's picking up, like what time, and what the plan is.
All right. And Gayatri, how about you?
Our calendar is on paper and it's color coded for each child.
All right.
Yes. And every day we go over which parent is taking which child where, and we go through and we talk with each child. Okay, you have this today, and then you'll be home at this time, and then you have this activity. This person's going to bring you home, and we just give them the list, and they're like, okay, Mom, I got it. I'm like, okay, let's just hope. And if I've got it wrong, you need to tell me. So they help us manage. But actually another thing that we do at the start of the school year, we'll actually make like a little short list of all the things that they have to do. Like you come home, you have to do your backpack, you have to undo your lunchbox. Did you show mom and dad your agenda, so that they know the list? And I don't feel like my husband or I have to go through that list. Like if we forget, like they know to do it. And then eventually that one goes away.
Is it written down like a checklist?
It's a checklist that's up on the wall. It's
Ooh, I like that. I think I might need that.
It's right as they come up the stairs before they enter the kitchen, they see the list and then they can go through it and they know what they need to do.
That's great. I saw something on, like, I was listening to the radio and they were talking about all these back to school gadgets. One that really surprised me was this lunchbox that's also like, you don't need like the cold pack in it. It's like the lunchbox itself is a freezer pack. So you put it in the freezer and then you put their lunches in and it stays cold. I was like, wow.
I use those, but here's what happens. This is why I need Gayatri's list. Okay. The next morning, the lunch bag with the ice pack comes out of the backpack. Whoops, Mom.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've had that too, if I remember those days correctly, that's for sure. I also was reading that somebody, this is something I could never do myself. I don't know how I could do it for my children. I'm kind of curious for you, and maybe different. I don't know, but it was, they pick out their clothes for the whole week on Sunday night, and they have all their outfits picked out for the whole week. That would have actually been a huge time saver. I also have 3 girls, so it would have been a big time saver, and actually, I should have done it for myself.
Because, I was going to say, can you do that for yourself? I can't do that for myself.
I should have done it for myself. So like the story goes is my youngest child, I mean, I always drove them to school because they would go to work. That's, I drive to work afterwards. So I was like, well, let me just drive you this way. You don't have to get the bus. They would have been on time with the bus. Me, especially my youngest, she'd skid in like right when the bell rang or like a second after. Her homeroom teacher hated her and it was really all my fault. So if I had picked out my outfits, maybe she would have been on time. That's how I think about it.
Well, I do have to say, like, if I have to go into an office now because I work more remotely, like I'm much more organized about, picking out and being prepared the night before than when we went into the office every day, because you like, it's just not something you do on a daily basis anymore. So I'm much more organized, like, ahead of time.
Do your kids, is like that part of the problem? How are they all in both your households in getting out of the house?
I like to give everybody a high five when we do the mornings well.
That's cute. They are the younger two. The younger two like to play. So we always have to plan or like pad in an extra 10 minutes to make sure we can get them out the door on time. And the little ones, so when you're talking about clothing, the boys, the older two are really quick. Like they know what they want. It doesn't really matter so much. They like everything in their drawer in their closet. But the little one, he is very specific about what he likes to wear. So we got into the habit of the night before of picking out his clothes. And then, but like you said, the younger two like to play around in the morning. So we have to pad the extra 10 minutes to make sure, in case we decide we need to have a different wardrobe for the next day, what we picked out last night doesn't work, then we can get out the door on time with less stress. I won't say no stress, but less stress.
How do you manage after school? I mean, there is driving and sometimes you are carpooling, you both have work, right? You have jobs, you might have meetings. So how are you able to kind of schedule that situation, the after school situation?
So definitely for me, like we look at the calendar and with, again, with my older kids, I say, you need to find a friend. You need to find a friend to either carpool with or, you're old enough, you can walk to the library, you can wait a little longer, or you can, maybe grandma can drive you.
Right.
You can look at your other options, and I think, for them, it's a lot of, just planning as well and participating in that, learning how to problem solve there.
So you both have pretty self-sufficient children, it sounds like. How, I don't know if any of your kids have like that back to school stress. Like for ours, especially when they get older and they're in activities, sometimes things start earlier than when the school year starts, right? Practices start earlier. So the summer kind of gets cut short faster, but how do you handle if they have any sort of back to school stress? Like, how do you manage that for them, and also, keep yourself calm? Anybody got that? Or are your kids all really got it together?
Does anybody have it all together?
Yeah, no.
Right.
I think the kids kind of like learn the same way that I don't know. I find that kind of learn the same way that I kind of learn. Like you find what your triggers are, and I find that my kids kind of like they need like a moment, and then we like try to figure it out together. Like what's gonna like what your kids like.
Yeah.
Each one is a little different. So usually they just kind of take a moment, and then we regroup and we try to figure out what the best plan is.
We start early. So like 2 or 3 weeks out, we start kind of planting the seeds, and just to kind of get the kids like, okay, guess what's coming up. We should start thinking about this. What kind of things do you need? Do you need new shoes? Do you want new shoes? Is it time for you to have a new backpack? Are you interested in a new backpack? Like things that'll kind of get them excited before like the not so interesting parts of what time they need to start waking up. But that's another thing, like probably about a week before we start trying to readapt to what like the new wake up time will be for school. So
that's very smart. It was actually one of my questions, is how far in advance do you start to plan, sort of? And it sounds like 2 to 3 weeks before you start, right? You're going for it.
I think it's hard when you have multiple children. It helps you to help them to just make sure that they are, they feel comfortable, they're in like more of a routine, so that you just have less to do and there's like less things that come at you, because things will come at you. Mm-hmm. It's just less.
Yeah, I think as they get older too, like what they have to do changes. So like the indicators are there.
Yeah.
My oldest has schoolwork to do, so she's already planning out. Right, she's already planned out her strategy on like the schoolwork that she's going to do, and so that's already indicating to the other girls that it's coming. So everybody's thinking about it. So all the indicators are there for them that it's time to start moving to the next step.
What advice would you have for people who have younger kids? Like your older ones are they're not even slightly, they are self-sufficient. You guys did a great job. But when you still have those like the toddler age, right, where they really can't do a lot of the stuff, and you're trying to manage your work, you're also trying to manage the back to school. Is it the same? I guess it could be the same, right? It's the calendar, it's the easing into it. But any advice for any working parents out there that feel overwhelmed?
So when the kids were younger, we did more meal prep for lunch the next day or for breakfast. We did more of that at night. So water bottles, and if there were parts of lunches that we could do that won't feel stale the next morning, like we would do that in the evening. Now we don't do it as so much with the older two, because they're so much easier, right? Just because of the self-sufficiency. But especially with that piece, showers at night. The only one who likes to shower now in the morning is my oldest. He's got like his routine, and we plan for that. We plan who's going to be in which of the two showers.
Right.
That was one of the most important things that we had to figure out for scheduling, is because he likes that extra shower in the morning. And we're like, wait, that just threw us off by like 15 minutes. We need to readjust.
Wow, that's great though. I hadn't thought about it, but bathroom time is really, I guess everybody has to sort of manage that. I agree with the girls. There's definitely that morning bathroom time. That's really key. What about, I had forgotten about it, honestly. I agree. We used to do, when the kids were younger, we would do a lot of that food prep. I had like all the little mini containers of like, fruit and like little food things like already done, like stacks and stacks of it for the entire week. They still use like the same containers, but they like to make like their own stuff. I think that was, where they can also feel like, I think, especially for like the working parents, like where they can participate, wherever the kids can participate in getting themselves ready. Like, even from like younger to like, so that when they hit like a little bit older, they can do a lot more themselves. Like the kids, when they were younger, we started Make Your Own Lunch Friday.
So like they could take whatever they wanted,
Cute.
whatever they wanted,
Wow.
as long as they made their own lunch.
So it could
And
be
so
Oreos.
now
Wow.
they could take Oreos. Somebody took ice cream one day. I said, if you can do it, it might be melty by the time it's, by the time you have it. But if you can, put in your thermos, it's up to you. Whatever you want to take on Friday, you can take it. Now they make their own lunches, and I hope they don't take ice cream every day.
What about dinners? Like, I used to do this Sunday huge cook, right? Just so I'd have all the dinners taken care of during the week. And remember, we were always going in the office, so it was easier to just come home and have it already ready. I mean, I don't know if that's changed now with remote work, that you don't necessarily have to do that so much. Just asking. Oh no, your kids making dinner too? Are they still self-sufficient?
My kids will be upset if I don't tell you.
I'm like, please.
They will call me out. Well, I'll lighten up a little bit, but we have a Fend for Yourself Tuesday night dinner because everybody has something to do on Tuesday night.
Okay, that's fair.
There's dance, there's soccer, there's play practice. Everybody's in and out and here and there on Tuesday night. So, and now it's like a tradition. It's the family tradition. So everybody, much like the make whatever you want on Friday used to be a thing. Now it's Fend for Yourself Tuesday night. So you can eat whatever you want for dinner on Tuesday night. Wow. You just have to make it yourself.
I love that.
Gayatri, are you going to take that one too?
Gayatri has healthy food options. Nobody eats ice cream for dinner. It's usually like ramen noodles or something.
I love ramen noodles. It's like my new thing. I'm trying to get the kids into that because it's just out of the package into a bowl. But when the school year starts, we haven't been like really doing this right now, but we'll make 2 meals on Sunday and they'll be big. So leftovers on Tuesday, leftovers on Thursday. And if they don't last till Thursday, it's whatever leftovers are in the refrigerator we eat on Thursday. And then Friday's takeout. So, and
sounds like
it
plan.
Works. It works.
It's a schedule. It absolutely works.
But we try to make sure that like the days that we cook where we have leftovers are the days where like we're packed with like activities. So we just need to kind of like shove something in the kids' mouths and like be gone or like go straight to bed. So
I think that's a great plan. Actually, you have your days, you have it set, you know which days the kids are busy, and you've come up with alternatives for it. So not only have you solved a problem for yourself, but you're actually illustrating problem solving. Your kids probably don't want to hear that you're actually showing them problem solving, but it's true. You're actually giving them an example of problem solving, so they'll be able to do it on their own when they move on, for sure. So my last question is just self-care. Like, we often get lost in this time frame when our kids are growing. You know, you lose your time. So, and I don't even think the words existed when my children were growing up, like those 2 words, self-care. I mean, I don't think it became a thing until like it was too late. It was like, oh, was I supposed to be doing? So do you find time to do whatever it is that makes you happy?
we were just talking about this.
We were talking about that on our drive over. Definitely not enough time. I was, when you said that to me, I feel like sometimes we like try to multitask. Like we'll take a walk and we'll talk. And to be honest, like our drive over was a little bit of self-care. That was like us like catching up because we haven't talked in a very long time. So that was nice. But I think finding time and like making that time is definitely very difficult.
It's hard to find 5 minutes, even.
It is.
So when we were talking about this, I was just telling Jess that like I have made it my priority to focus on that like probably about 4 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? Me being in just a ragged state is not good for anybody. It's not good for the kids. It's not good for like just the whole family if I'm not in a good place. And it took me a while to get there because it's always, well, I got to do this for the family. We've got to get this person needs this. And it's just so easy to let everything go. But, it's like, this sounds silly, but I'm like, you know what? My first thing of self-care is going to be, I'm getting a haircut. So, I know it sounds so silly.
No,
so
that's the best.
Got a haircut. That was amazing. It was my time. No one's asking me for anything. decide, you know what, I'm going to go get a pedicure. Just going to just me time. It's just silence. And then, I was telling Jess, I just started working out again. And I've every other day for the past 4 weeks. So I've found a really nice routine. And I notice how much better I feel. And when I'm interacting with the kids or my husband or we're working on family things, I'm in just so much of a better place to do that when I've kind of taken care of me first. And I don't think I ever appreciated that ever up until the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it is amazing, right? When you take a few minutes for yourself, endorphins happen even when, exercise or even getting your hair cut, right? It just puts you in a different frame of mind, which enables you to sort of manage that whole job, which is raising your family.
Yeah, I also think it's very easy, particularly for me with working remotely and having a lot to do at work. Also, you're oh, I'm just going to go check one thing. And then next thing you know, you're quietly sitting at your desk and it's an hour or 2 hours later. Yeah. And you're oh, I didn't mean to work that long, or I didn't mean to do that much, after hours.
I even find it with myself, if I don't wake up early enough and I think I'm not going to have time to finish my exercise, I'll try to convince myself to put it off, but then I realize I can't. And then I'm better off just doing it, because I think about it and I'm oh, well, if I don't do it now, maybe I'll do it at the end of the day. And I don't have children in this house anymore. But the truth is once you get involved in work, it's really hard to you forget. Sometimes you forget to eat. So, because you're so wrapped up into it. So I find if I don't force myself, then I won't.
Right. It'll be 6 and oh, all the kids got home because I didn't have to drive them today. And then it's 7 because nobody came down to get you because everybody kind of took care of their own, decided mom was distracted and took care of their own dinners. And then you're oh, okay.
Well, it's time for you to go for a walk then, if they all ate.
Very true.
Right.
Very true. I could, slide in my self-care right there.
Absolutely. All right, so I bought a self-care gift for us. So we're going to get it, and we're all going to put on cold eye patches, and we're going to finish off our podcast. Is that good?
Sounds fantastic.
All right. I think this might be more than one. Nope. Oh, it is. All right, so come closer. All right, so you put one under one eye.
Gosh, Sherry.
But they're going to feel so good.
Go either way?
Yeah, they go either way. You have to kind of pick.
Oh, yeah, hold on, I got 2 here.
Oh, you got 2? Okay. All right. I'll put one on. Wait, I don't want to put my hands all over it. Gayatri,
so the pointier ends.
You put your point there. Okay. Look at us. Oh, they smell good. They smell clean. We're going to get rid of our dark circles together.
I love it.
We're so young, Sherry. We don't have any dark circles.
That's true. Makeup does wonder. All right.
We're so
here, this one. I think you're right. This might be 2.
I don't know about this. I feel
I think you have to move it up.
Oh, up? Oh,
move it up. It might fall down. I think they're slippery.
I have heels on my face.
All right, come on. All those young people on Instagram, they all do it, and they do this while they make their breakfast. Callie from Peloton, man, she's turned my daughter onto these. She just makes breakfast.
Your daughter uses these?
Oh, yes.
That's fun. They do feel really good.
Yeah, I think we should put them in the freezer next time. So then they're really cold. What do you think?
Well, of course you look gorgeous wearing these.
All right. So
I think you have 2 on one side.
Wait, I think you have 2 on that. Yeah, hold on. Here, that's better. Wait, you might have 2 on the other side too.
Did I?
It's my fault. They were all stuck together.
Oh my gosh.
We're really not good at this.
See, perfect. There we go.
This is obvious that we need to take more time for self-care.
We need to practice our
self-care. Yeah, mine are going to slide off. Okay, are we ready? All right, so we're going to have some Zen. Get our nice, feel good on our face. Yay. You ladies deserve it with the management of your jobs and your whole family. You guys rock because your kids are very self-sufficient, so I'm pretty impressed. But anyway, let's grab our coffee cups.
Catch you later on Cookies and Careers.